You ready? How you feeling over there, Mike Blakely?
Yeah, I feel pretty darn good for a Wednesday.
That's a good thing. You were here late last night.
Yeah, I don't know how late it was.
Well, maybe not too late.
It was after sundown, I admit.
Wednesday nights have been good here at Western Edge.
Every night at Western Edge is a good night.
That's true. I can't think of many places I'd rather be on a Wednesday night. Or a Tuesday night with Mike Blakely.
Sure enough.
Thanks, Zach. Well, welcome into Western Edge Cellars, y'all. It's good to see a bunch of familiar faces hanging out. A few of you.
There's one now.
There's another one. There's another one. We're going to have a good time tonight, and if you're here, most of y'all know that this is the Outsider Songwriter Spotlight Series. My name's Stephen K. Morris. We're out there on KFan 107.9 FM with this show Thursdays and Sundays. Wednesday nights right here at Western Edge, and I bring a different songwriter guest in each week to quiz them about their past and future. You ready for that again, Mike?
It's not a perjury trap or anything like that.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Do you have much to hide?
No.
No worries.
I hide stuff from myself all the time,
Yeah.
not intentionally.
If I get that deer in the headlights look, I'll just change questions.
Yeah,
We'll move on.
I appreciate that.
You're no stranger to this show. This is Mr. Mike Blakely, y'all, and I'm glad to have him back at the show.
Howdy.
Yeah.
Howdy again.
Well, it's good to see you here. I know you were here last night because this is the location of one of your residencies, Tuesday nights at Western Edge.
I should have just left my guitar plugged in, I guess.
You could
I
have.
took it all the way home for
I
some
think
reason.
you even sit on that side of the stage.
Pretty much right here, yeah.
Well, how's summer been treating you? I know that's a loaded question this year.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows that it's a different year, so I won't get into that, but
Right.
we're all in the same boat there. But it's been a good summer. Getting a lot of stuff done, and a lot of stuff done at home, and I still have some weekly shows that I do, so I've been blessed with some places to play for socially distanced audiences.
Yeah.
And been doing some live streaming and stuff like we all are these days. So
Yeah.
it's been good. I can't complain.
I think the live streaming was kind of a new run at this for a lot of us. It was for me.
There was a learning curve there.
Yeah. But it worked out really well after we got going with it. And
It took me a while to figure out how to turn the phone sideways,
Oh, there you go.
But
Yeah.
I figured that out. So.
yeah, when I quit dropping mine, it finally worked out.
Okay,
I
good.
didn't know you had to play guitar and hold the phone at the same time.
Supposed to tape it on down here to your headstock.
Oh, okay.
That's what
Yeah.
you do with duct tape.
Yeah. Sounds like an Eagles video,
Right.
Well, I'm glad you're back in the house. I know you've had some other exciting things this year. Last time you were on the show, you had just released The Outside Circle, your most recent album, and
Yeah, man.
you've had some good success with that thing, and you've won I believe, a Spur Award with the Western Writers Association.
That's true. We had a good run with that album, and it was produced by Walt Wilkins and Ron Flint in Austin, Texas at Jumping Dog Studio. I always give them a shout out when we start talking about these awards that we were nominated for and
Heck
a couple
yeah.
that we won. Because if the album did not sound good, we wouldn't win those awards. They made it sound really good.
It sure did.
But the title cut called The Outside Circle was a song I wrote with my buddy Damon Rogers, and Damon's a sure enough full-time working cowboy horse trainer, and he does that kind of work, has his whole life. And we wrote the song together, and we did get nominated for the Spur Award at Western Writers of America and won the award for Best Western Song of the Year.
Yeah.
And so I thought I was getting free hotel rooms for life out of that thing, but turns out that the awards are not affiliated with the hotel chain.
You just get the free breakfast, right?
Yes, right. And we were not nominated for some other stuff, too, that it's always a joy to be nominated that we didn't win. But then for the International, the Western Music Association, IWMA, International Western Music Association, we won, for the same song, we won an award for Best Working Cowboy Song of the Year. So You know, when I record an album, Stephen, and most of the songs never win any awards, you know, and every now and then one will win something. But for one song to win 2 awards and be nominated 5 times, you know, overall, that was a really good run for that song, and it was all unexpected too. I didn't realize the song was going to touch the hearts of so many Western music listeners. The album, The Outside Circle, as you know, and a lot of folks out there do know too, that it was all cowboy music and Western story songs. So the awards came in the form of awards that go out to Western singers, cowboy singers, and balladeers, and
Right.
so in that circle we got some attention with that album. It was nice, and I got more acquainted with some people in that circle of music that I had known for years, but got closer with, and people like Doug Figgs out in New Mexico, and Jim Jones, who also lives in New Mexico, and Kristen Harris, who's an up-and-coming genius singer, songwriter, cowgirl singer, and trick rider on horses. So it's just fascinating people like this in the Western music field, and it's been a lot of fun to get reacquainted with those folks.
That's amazing, and congratulations on the notes for your song and awards. And old Damon Rogers, he's a good guy. And
Damon's real happy about the success we've had with his co-writes, and he should be, because it's been a good run.
Yeah, he gets that real life experience and able to spin it into those stories. And I know personally, The Outside Circle was one of the more intriguing Western stories that I didn't know that part of the Western.
Yeah, I didn't either. It was Damon's idea
culture.
to do the song, and he explained to me what The Outside Circle was. And when briefly you go out to round up cattle in certain parts of the big wide open country, and they'll want to herd all the cattle into a central point. So the cowboys will ride out in circles, each circle getting bigger than the one inside of it, and herd all the cattle towards the middle. Well, somebody has to ride the outside circle the longest way around. They usually pick the best rider and who has the best horse to
Fast
do that.
horse.
Yeah, and the one that can last riding all day. And so they picked that cowboy to do that job. So the younger cowhands all aspire to someday be chosen to ride the outside circle because it's an honor. Yeah. And Damon told me that idea, and we spent a couple of weeks or so writing the song, over the phone, over the internet, and got together a couple of times and worked on it too. So, we got lucky and told a story that touched a lot of people.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we've talked that long about it. Do you want to play that one?
Hey, let's just do that.
Not to determine your set list there, but
we've set that one up.
I think it would feel strange if you didn't play that one now.
All right, this is The Outside Circle by Mike Blakely and Damon Rogers. When I was a young boy, my age was barely 10, riding my first roundup with the older boys and men. The foreman sent our top hand where lesser men might fail, to ride the outside circle, the longest, roughest trail. I watched that top hand ride out on a skittish colt that day. And once on a distant ridge, saw him turning horns my way. He penned the herd by evening, his pony soaked with sweat. And I made myself a promise that I still remember yet. One day I'd ride the outside circle, I'd make a top hand, riding through the sage so purple, round the Ocotillo stand. And I'd chouse the wildest cattle on the roughest broncos, and I'd ride the outside circle for the brand. Well, I held my promise sacred, and I aimed to keep my word, and I'll learn to throw a fast loop from the rankest in the herd. And it was 10 years later when I heard the roundup boss. He said, "You'll ride the outside circle, son. Go get yourself a horse." And I rode the outside circle. I made a top hat, riding through the sage so purple, round the Ocotillo stand. And I chows the wildest cattle on the roughest broncos, and I rode the outside circle for the brand. These days I'm the foreman. Some say I'm getting old. It's true, my hair is silver, and you can see my legs are bold. And I ride the inside circles now, but just ask my cowboy peers. They know I rode that outside circle for well nigh 30 years. Yes, I rode the outside circle. I made a top hat, riding through the sage so purple, round the Ocotillo stand. And I chows the wildest cattle on the roughest broncos, and I rode the outside circle for the brand. In my dreams I ride the ridges, in my stirrups I still stand, and I ride the outside circle for the brand. Hey, thank you very much. It's the longest, roughest trail.
Fantastic.
Appreciate it, everybody.
There's Mr. Mike Blakely, y'all, with his song, The Outside Circle. He's no stranger to the Outsider Songwriter Spotlight series. I'm glad to have you back, man.
Yeah, it's good
been
to be
too
back.
long, yeah. And again, congrats on all the notoriety for that song. It's a fantastic tune. And you mentioned the Western culture and the Western writers. There is a difference between country and Western, and I think you
there really is,
described it well there about the characters that are generally working cowboys or in the farmers, cowboys, those guys that share the poetry and stories of that tradition. And you're no stranger to that growing up. You grew up Wharton, Texas, on the coast. Is Wharton going to get any rain out of this hurricane?
You know, it looks like that they're not going to get anything severe, but there's just going to be some rainfall. Wharton County is accustomed to rainfall. They get about 50 or more inches of rain a year, so it's not going to be any big deal. This is further up east, up the coast, up northeast. It's just going to hit harder. So, my mom called me this morning and said, "Don't worry about us. We're going to be just fine." So,
Speaking of your mother, Pat Blakely, she wrote a book a couple years ago, which it kind of runs in the family, I think.
She worked 25 years on this novel, a historical novel called The Wisely Chronicles, and it's a novel she wrote a historical novel set in the Jamestown old colonies era of the Chesapeake Bay area on the East Coast. And so I was one of the first ones, obviously, to get to read her manuscript before it was published. And I went, wow, my mom wrote this. Some pretty exciting stuff in there. And it was. She did a good job on the book, and it's been well received by folks.
That's good. And you're no stranger to sitting down behind a typewriter or probably a computer now, and you've written about 20 novels yourself, and you've won a Spur Award for that as well.
I did win a Spur Award for one of my novels in the year 2000, I think it was, yeah. That book was called Summer of Pearls, and it was, the Spur was for the best Western novel of the year. Oddly enough, it's more of a Southern novel. It's on the Texas-Louisiana border, so, but it won the award that year, so I'm real happy about that.
Yeah, and you're in the middle of writing, I think, part 2 of your most recent novel, Sinister Splendor.
That's right. Yeah, I'm working on the sequel to A Sinister Splendor, which the two books together encompass the Mexican War in the 1840s. And I didn't get all the way through the war in the first book. I kind of planned it that way because there's a natural break in that conflict between the northern phase of the war, which happened in Texas and northern Mexico. And in the sequel I'm working on now, I deal with the things that happened in California and now our state, what is now our state of New Mexico, and then way down south in Mexico. There's 2 phases of the war, so this is the second phase. And I'm using all real people as characters in these books. A lot of them were officers or just regular soldiers in the Army who wrote diaries about it, or people like Zachary Taylor, who was the general in the first part of the war. Ulysses S. Grant was a young lieutenant, so I use him as one of my characters. I'm fictionalizing through him, trying to think about what he would be thinking and what he was seeing and how would this make him feel. And that's what I did with all these characters. I made up very few really fictional characters. I had to make up a few to move the story along. But it's been it's a historical novel, so it's fiction, but it's based as closely as I can get it to what I think actually happened in all these conflicts in the war. You never know because 10 guys who were in the same battle had 10 different viewpoints of it. So
Sure.
As a novelist, you have to kind of pick which one makes the most sense or drives the story the best.
Right.
So it's been interesting learning about that conflict that I didn't really know much about. It's just an odd deal. My publisher actually pitched this idea to me. Normally, I come up with a book idea and pitch it to my publisher.
Is that right? I
But
didn't know that.
Yeah, they had called me and said, "How would you feel about writing a historical novel about the Mexican War?" And I said, "Well, let me look into it." And I got so intrigued that I took the deal, and it turned into a 2-book deal, and so that was good too. So yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't realize the publisher kind of had the idea. Did they find that there was just kind of a gap in that history?
That was
in
part
our
of
current
it.
literature.
The war is not that as well known as you got World War II and World War I and the Civil War, of course, which a lot of history buffs read about, and there just really hasn't been that much written about the Mexican War, especially in fiction. There have been some really good nonfiction histories written about the war which helped me a lot, but it hadn't been touched upon very, very much anyway by fiction writers, so it was kind of an open field to work on.
That's interesting, and I know you do a lot of studies over at the UT library where you went to school, and
That's right, yeah.
You mentioned some of those documents, diaries, and letters. You've actually held in your hands some of that history.
Yeah, I've done some of that research where you have to go to the original source, and some of that is in the University of Texas library system. Some of it is in the Texas archives right next to the Capitol building in Texas, where you can go touch letters by these people who lived through things, 170 something years ago, and you have to be really careful with them. They don't
Sure.
let just anybody in there.
Yeah, you're wearing the white gloves.
You got
on
to wear the
some of
white
those.
gloves and be really careful with the documents. But just
Yeah.
to see the ink written by the actual handwriting of the people who I'm researching is pretty powerful to me, and
I
makes
can
me want to
imagine.
makes me want to get the story right.
Yeah. Well, that's always interesting, and this is a music show, but I always try to tie it into the other crafts and art that folks
Sure.
do besides the music, and I've always enjoyed how some of your music overlaps, and some of them actually literally overlap with novels you've written, and I think
That's true.
I always say the title wrong. I get it mixed up with McMurtry, but Comanche Moon is
The Last Comanche Man is my song.
your song,
Yeah.
and that
He has a novel called
he does have-
Comanche Moon,
and you have a novel that's
called Comanche Dawn. So it's all
Comanche
very confusing.
Dawn, and I knew I was going to stray on that. So thanks for the help lining me out. But I know a lot of that one actually did overlap and with your
Right.
songwriting. So I've always enjoyed that aspect of your music. And any ideas on the most recent novel? Any songs spin off from that?
I never try to make that happen. So if it's going to happen, it's just going to happen. But you never know. Something will spark my interest. And normally those two careers, the songwriting career and the literary book writing career, stay separate. But as you just mentioned, they do overlap. Some they'll dovetail. Sometimes. And
Yeah.
I'll get a song out of a book or in a chapter of a book, I'll pull something out of a song I'd already written or whatever. It happens every now and then.
Right. Well, it's always interesting to hear what you got next, and I'd love to hear another song if you're ready to play one.
Okay, yeah, I'd be glad to. Since you're mentioning how those two careers sometime overlap, I'll play a song about one of my characters in one of my books. The book is called Shortgrass Song, a book I wrote probably 20 or more years ago, and the main female character in the book is named Amelia. And for whatever reason, I wrote this song about Amelia, but this is her husband singing the song to her. The backstory that I gave Amelia in the book was that she came from a rich family on the East Coast and was accustomed to luxuries and nice things, but she fell in love with this rancher who was breaking out a new ranch on the Front Range of Colorado, which at the time was the frontier in the 1870s. So she moved out to the frontier and had to give up a lot of nice things that she enjoyed on the East Coast. So this is her husband, Pete, singing to Amelia because he appreciates all the sacrifices that she has made. It's called Slow Falling Rain. Thunder rumbled in my dreams this morning. It was distant but plain. I tried to hold back the day and the dawning. I tried to dream of some rain. I heard the horses stampede to the stables. They always know. Waking up, saw you in the breeze at the window with your hair flowing. Keep on believing, Amelia. I understand your pain. You've given up your own dreams for me. You ain't got so much to gain. Just let me hold you whenever life starts to make you insane. Let me love you like a slow falling rain. Like a rain. There's something soothing about the sound of the raindrops playing old window panes. There's something real about the ring of a rooftop singing under the rain. I believe we can get through the summer. I believe in this dream. I believe you're a sight to behold with the lightning in your eyes gleaming. Keep on believing, Amelia. I understand your pain. You've given up your own dreams for me. You ain't got so much to gain. Just let me hold you whenever life starts to make you insane. Let me love you like a slow falling rain. Like a rain. Oh, like the rain. Thank you so much. We need a little slow falling rain around here. It's in August in Central Texas.
My thoughts exactly. It's been a little dry.
It has been.
Well, that's Mr. Mike Blakely, y'all. Welcome in if you're just getting here to Western Edge Cellars. If you're out on KFAM 107.9 FM or Texas Rebel Radio, thanks for tuning in. Y'all keep doing that. And new to the show, we're about 12 episodes into our full-blown video on YouTube. So if you're out there, any of you listeners, please do get on YouTube, the Outsider Songwriter Spotlight Series. Click subscribe, ring the little bell, and we will send you a notification when the next show is on. So
All you got to do is ring the little bell. Huh?
that's right. There's a bell to ring, and somebody comes running, and they'll run to your front door and throw you a laptop, and you can watch the show in the comfort of your own home.
Free laptop.
Well, I don't know about that. Not yet, but maybe someday. We do appreciate you guys sharing original music and hanging out with us here at Western Edge when you're in Fredericksburg. 6:30 to 9 on Wednesday nights. We're right here. And Mike Blakely, our guest this week. Beautiful song you just finished off there, Mike.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. It's nice to hear one that I don't hear all the time. And
I don't play that many waltzes, and that's a nice little waltz, and it's always fun to play with a nice listening audience like this, a quality, intelligent audience like we have right here at Western Edge right now.
The best.
You, Jerry.
We always have fun on Wednesday nights, and I know you have some fun on Tuesday nights right here.
It's always a hoot. There's music 7 nights a week here at Western Edge on Main Street in Fredericksburg, Texas. It's just a great place, a wonderful place.
That's right.
And the food is good.
The food is
real
good. It's fantastic. So it's a good place to be all around. Good bar, good food, good music. So, Mike, this summer's been getting a little hot, but you at home, you've got animals and you garden and kind of got the whole deal going there. You've moved to Fredericksburg, what is it, 3 years now?
4, a little over 4 years, yeah.
It goes by fast. Yeah. And
almost 4.5.
Yeah. Y'all keep a small zoo out there, a couple horses?
We only have 3 horses, 2 cats, and 5 dogs.
Yeah.
It's not such a big menagerie. So.
I imagine it's quite the endeavor to get out of the house if y'all are going to go on the road very long.
That's true. We got a lot of good friends who understand how to feed and take care of all those critters, and they'll come just hang out at our house. And people people enjoy staying at our house because we live about 15, 20 miles outside of town, and we're behind 4 gates. So you don't hear much traffic noise, if any at all, and it's a nice little getaway.
Yeah, it's a fantastic spot. I've had the pleasure to hang out with you around the campfire a couple times.
We've written a couple songs out there.
That's right.
I think we have, or whittled away at songs.
We have, and it is a great place. I like any place you have to drive down 2 miles of dirt road to get to, and just see that the neighbors are the deer and the cattle running. And
that's right. The occasional rattlesnake now, but that's part of it. It comes with the territory.
Yeah. Well, this year we've all been a little closer to home, but you did make a yearly trip through Colorado and that neighborhood. And,
I customarily head to Colorado in July for the past several years, and number one, to cool off.
Sure.
And play music, and then I like to do some fishing. Sometimes Annie gets to go with me, and we'll sing some gigs together. And so this year there were some cancellations for obvious reasons, but we got on the phone and worked up some house concerts with some people who knew how to do the social distancing thing, and had put enough shows together, mainly in people's backyards and some beautiful places in Colorado, and was able to do the tour and didn't have to skip the whole trip this year. So it was nice. Thanks to all the folks who helped me out up there in Colorado. You know who you are.
Yeah, it's always great house concerts are one of my favorites because you have a little closer personal experience with the listeners, and you get to meet new people and friends of friends that you might not meet.
I don't know of a songwriter like you and I are, Stephen, who doesn't agree with exactly what you just said, because if the folks are really music fans, and they've got to be to have music in their own backyard or home, then they tend to tell their friends, okay, you're going to want to listen to every song. Okay, this is not just your normal party. We're going to sit theater style, and these folks are going to play some great music, and people listen, and then we get to tell the story about the song before we play the song, and people tend to like that a lot too, to know where these songs come from. So it's for songwriters. You're right. I agree with you. It's the best way to play.
Yeah, I'm always on board with those. Those are the ones that I don't forget. Sadly, we kind of some of the gigs get fuzzy.
Well, after thousands of them, that's just going to happen. So.
But every house concert's unique, and those are fantastic venues to play for people. Well, Mike, if you'll play another one, I'll follow you up and play one too, and we'll keep this thing going with some music and
Okay.
get out here. It's Mike Blakely, y'all.
I mentioned our friend Walt Wilkins and mentioned that he was my producer on the last album, so I'm going to do a co-write that I did with Walt several years ago. It's called This Time of Year. On the highest cattail reef, on the west bank of the pond, the red-winged blackbird sings like a gondolier. In the day's first ray of sun, shooting down through the mountain pass, it's like a bullet from a gun, baby, this time of year. And across old Mexico, over the Sierra Madre Range, man, you ought to see them roll on their way here. They can darken high noon, rattle these old canyon walls, but they make the cactus bloom, baby, this time of year. And I found you this time of year. The last frost long gone and the summer near. It just goes round and round, but it always comes back here. I fall more in love with you this time. There's one thing I know, it's that a man in love can sure make a garden grow. Honey, just look right here. We got the sweet corn by the pound, red tomatoes on the vine, come straight out of the ground this time of year. And I found you this time of year. Last frost long gone and the summer near. And it just goes round and round, but it always comes back here. I fall more in love with you this time of year. Just go round and round, but it always comes back here. I fall more in love with you this time of year. Here it is this time of year again. Thank
Perfect
y'all.
line.
Appreciate it.
Good song. It's always this time of year, too, so you can sing that anytime. It's not like a Christmas song.
It's not necessarily that time of year, but it's always this time of year.
This time of year. Oh, goodness. That's Mr. Mike Blakely, y'all. Welcome in to Western Edge if you're just getting here, and thank you for listening out on KFAN and TexasRebelRadio.com. You can find Mike online at MikeBlakely.com. You can order one of 12 or 13 albums, and I think you can order some of his novels there too.
And my wife Annie has got all that stuff downloadable these days. You know, you can download a single song if you want to through the normal channels, CD Baby, and iTunes, that sort of thing.
We are in the digital age, it seems.
Yep. Well, I am thanks to my wife. I never would have gotten there by myself.
Yeah, that's Miss Annie Blakely. She's hanging out. And,
there she is now.
I have to see her in a little while sing a song with Mike, and if she will.
Why not?
I've seen her do it before. I bet she will.
Sing Alec.
Well, Mike, I'll give you some reprieve. I do want to mention our sponsors that help support this show and keep the wheels turning on the Outsider Songwriter. One of those is the Tobacco House. They're purveyors of cheap talk and fine tobacco. They're across the street from the Nimitz Museum at 109 South Washington Street. It's a fine lounge with a walk-in humidor, a full bar, and fantastic Welsh leather chairs. You can pick wisely when you get in one. You'll be there a while.
Annie and I were there just a few days ago, and we
good.
sunk into those big leather chairs, and I smoked a nice cigar, and we played some tunes on our guitars, and it's always a fun visit there at the Tobacco House.
That's a good spot to be, and we appreciate Bob and the Tobacco House for keeping the original music rolling. And you can look them up online at tabak-haus. That's tobaccohouse.com. Another sponsor is the Texas Silver Rush. They make silver and stone jewelry. You'll feel like the rock stars they designed for when you shop at Texas Silver Rush. Look them up online at thetexassilverrush.com. And when you're in Fredericksburg, they're on the west end of historic Main Street, just across from Western Edge Cellars. So we appreciate Trish and Joe over there. And last but not least, Majesty Wine Tours. They'll drive you to drink and treat you like royalty. You can pick a tour package they've already designed, or you can customize your own tour. They'll pick you up at your B&B or hotel and get you back safe after you see all the wineries and hot spots in Fredericksburg and the Hill Country. So that's Majesty Wine Tours. We appreciate them supporting The Outsider and keeping the original music rolling here in Fredericksburg. And we appreciate you guys hanging out right here. Our live audience, they're always ready for a good time, aren't you?
A lively bunch out there.
Thanks for being here, folks. And I'd like to thank Mr. Zach Clark for producing good video for the YouTube channel. And he's the guy behind the cameras and behind the desk, apparently, quite a few hours a week getting this show out there for YouTube. If you are watching this on video, please subscribe to the channel. New to the show, we've got about 5 months under our belt, and somehow we're still chugging along with ease. Well, Mike, I'll throw a song in, and you mentioned we've scratched a song or two out. Maybe I should just throw out one we've done, and we mentioned you moving to Fredericksburg. I think this thing got pretty well started and going.
That's right, because you helped me move some furniture, and then
I did.
I roped you into writing a song too. So
that's right. We got a little break waiting on orders from headquarters. I think we were thinking about all our friends that had to wait till 5 o'clock for a good drink. Depending on what day it is, that doesn't happen. It's a bumpy road on a broken spoke. It's a heavy load on a worn-out yoke. It's an uphill climb on a lonely ride. Steep grade ahead on the other side. I've had my fill, all I can take. I'm cracking the whip with a foot on the brake. I'm letting out reins on a mule I cussed. I'm all choked up in a cloud of dust. Riding on this wagon, it's driving me to drink. Wheels are on the rim rock, I'm rolling on the brink. Lord only knows how hard I've tried to sell this wagon used for the price of my pride. Yes, I will. Well, the ravens hang low and they squawk at the end. That sun shines down, my lone cruel friend. Days are long and the nights are cold. Ain't nothing wet on the desert road. Riding on this wagon, it's driving me to drink. Wheels are on the rim rock, I'm tried. Sell this wagon used for the price of my pride. And I have. I know I G'd when I should have hauled. Been jerked and kicked, scratched and pawed, and I made this trail 100 times before. And by weekend, well, I'll chalk one more. Riding on his wagon, it's driving me to drink. Wheels are on the rim rock, I'm rolling on the brink. Lord only knows how hard I've tried. I'd sell this wagon used for the price of my pride. Yes, well, I'd sell this wagon used for the price of a Miller Lite. I say Miller Lite because Shiner Block didn't rhyme.
You
Mike.
got to make it rhyme. That's right.
Well, welcome in. Good to see some of y'all settling in here tonight. Mr. Mike Blakely, our guest on The Outsider. Thank you, Jerry. Treating the tip jar good. That's Mr. Jerry Sotelo, a familiar voice on KFAN and KNAF radio. We appreciate you, Jerry. Got the family with him tonight.
Hey, Jerry.
Well, Mike, last year there was travels galore. We went to Alaska. We got to do that trip together and make the rounds through the Inside Passage.
We sang the Outside Circle on the Inside Passage.
That's right.
You remember that?
Yeah. I thought it was perfect. And
that
we
was-
actually have several people in here that went with us.
Yeah, we got some folks that took the Alaskan cruise with us, and I don't know about you, Steve, but one of my most memorable parts of that cruise, we had a great room to do our music in.
Absolutely.
Where we had these windows all around, and we could see out into the Inside Passage in the ocean.
I nearly fell in there one night.
Yeah. But, we're playing some songs, and it was daytime sometime when we did our concerts. You could look out and see some whales coming up and things, just all this stuff happening around us, around the ship, and it was just an amazing experience. It was you and I and Chuck Hawthorne and Libby Koch, and, of course, Annie Blakely and Mike Blakely were both there, and Woody Eastman.
That's right.
And what a crew that was.
We had a heck of a crew. I think we kept at least one or two of the bars in business that week. And got to play music and see Alaska. It was a amazing trip, and I hope we all get to join up and do that again.
I think we had 60 or 70 fans come with us, and which made it a big, just a big family outing for musicians and music fans. It's just unforgettable. And it was a great tour.
You mentioned that lounge we got to play in with the 360-degree glass. One of my favorite moments was Chuck Hawthorne's turn to sing, and of course he's a Marine veteran, and here comes the Navy. We saw a submarine cruising by amongst the whales and other things out in the Inside Passage. And there's a lot of good memories on that trip.
Well, you know what we're doing next month?
I was going to ask if
we're doing a whitewater raft trip down the middle fork of the Salmon River in Idaho, and it's the most pristine river in the lower 48 because it's totally surrounded by a wilderness area. 6 days, 6 nights, and there's still time. The raft tour company said everything is okay, because of the COVID and all that. They've got special ways that they're disinfecting everything associated with the trip, and that's all good. And they said that they can sign people up as close as a day or two before the raft trip. So y'all go to MikeBlakely.com, and if you happen to see this YouTube video before mid-September, well, come along with us. I've done the trip before. I was on it about 10 years ago, and it is a beautiful river. Sometimes there are hot springs beside the river where you can partake of the hot water, and if you like to fish, it's catch and release fishing only, but you can fish in that river, and you'll see all kind of wildlife along the way, and some rapids too that are exciting. And the guides are very well trained, and they make food for you every evening, and Annie and I are hosting the trip, so we'll play music around the campfire for 6 nights in a row.
Fantastic.
And so if anybody's interested in doing that, go to MikeBlakely.com, and there's a page on my website that's got a link to IdahoRivers.com, and
Very good.
I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm
It's gonna
excited that your trip's still on. I was going to ask if everything was a go for that. And
Yeah, they've been doing those trips all summer long. Actually, it's the wide open outdoors, and so as long as everybody's safe on getting there, then we're all good. So
that's some good news.
Yeah.
So you fly out, you get there, they pick you up, you get on a river for 6 nights. There's music and great food. I can't imagine a better way to spend a week. And
it's just amazing, and so. And any river is different every time you go down it.
Sure.
So it's like I said, I've done the trip before, but I'm looking forward to this new trip.
yeah, well, good luck on that one. I look forward to seeing some photos and hearing some good stories.
Yeah, we'll be rubbing it in as every
I'm
chance
sure
we
you
get.
will. Well, Mike, if you're ready to play another tune, I'd love to hear another one, and maybe another 3 or 4 of them.
Well, okay, all right.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Maybe we can get Annie Blakely to come sing a song. You want to do that, babe? So I'm going to do a song here that we've been doing for years. I wrote this song with John Arthur Martinez and Jerry Harkins and Mike Seiler. And we were in Nashville wanting to come home to Texas, so we wrote a song about going home. This was back in 1990-something.
Last century.
Yeah, exactly. The last millennium. And I recorded this song, and my friend John Arthur Martinez, our friend, was also doing the song. And at one of his concerts, a gentleman heard him do this song. It's a song about going home. And this gentleman who heard it happened to be an astronaut. And he was the mission commander on the 2007 Space Shuttle mission. And part of his job was to pick a song with which to wake up the astronauts every morning. Instead of an alarm clock or something, they wake them up with a song. And he liked this song because it was a song about going home or coming home. And so they awakened the astronauts on the last morning of the mission, because that was the day they were going home. So they played this on the International Space Station back in 2007, which means our music is now intergalactic.
That's
That is
stellar,
far
man.
out, man. So if I can get Annie to come up here and help me sing this.
Yeah, y'all welcome Miss Annie Blakely.
If I had it my way, I'd get off the highway, I'd pull up in the driveway, and take you in my arms. But I got a job to do, and I know that you're working too, to make a better life for you and me. Making good time on the road, making good time coming home. I know you're waiting there, I've seen it in my mind. I'm coming on home and I'm making good time. All I do is miss you, never could resist you. I can't wait to kiss you and look into your eyes. It's been a long, hard drive, but it's gonna be alright, 'cause I can see the hometown lights in view. Making good time on the road, making good time coming home. I know you're waiting there, seen it in my mind. I'm coming home and I'm making good time. Making good time on the road, making good time, making good time, making good time, making good time, yo, making good time. We're all making it. Everybody's making good time. Oh yeah. Thank you, Annie Blakely, for singing harmoniously.
Thank you.
That song's written by Mike Blakely, John Arthur Martinez, Jerry Harkins, and Mike Seiler. And they haven't sent us any space bucks yet.
No space bucks, huh?
It takes a while to sort those out.
Yeah.
They come around orbit.
I think they'll send it in space coin, you know. That'll be the next new currency.
Well, we can only hope.
Well, that's one of my favorites, and what neat history there that it was actually played in outer space. And,
You know, that's something we didn't seek or try to get done, but in this business, as you know, things fall into place for you sometimes, and that was an interesting development for that song.
nice surprise.
Yeah.
Well, that was Miss Annie Blakely singing with Mike, his dear wife and sweet wife. Annie oftentimes joins you at gigs, and she did a lot of singing on the last couple albums with you. Keepsake was the one prior to the Outside Circle.
That's right, yeah.
And Outside Circle most recently, and I always enjoy hearing y'all together. Y'all also write some songs together. That's part of the process.
We have written a few. We are working on some currently, too, so
Good.
always got something in the works.
Yep, that sounds good. Well, Mike, before we start wrapping down the radio hour, I'm just going to turn it back to you and let you keep going if you'd like to play another one. And
Okay. Oh, my God. Let me check this tuning right quick.
all good. Thank you guys for being a live audience here at Western Edge. We're just having a fantastic time, as usual, on Wednesday nights. And it's always good to have Mike Blakely back in the house with us. And I'll reach out there to K-Fan again and tell you guys thanks for listening in and supporting the small businesses that sponsor The Outsider.
That's a little closer.
You know, going from the heat of summer in Texas to a nice indoor air conditioning at Western Edge, guitars take the brunt of it.
They get cranky in August, just like all of us.
They do. And then again in October and January. And about the time I get mine in summer tuning, it's all time to turn it around.
You got it. Can I invite my harmony singer to come back for this one, too? I didn't know we were going to do a few in a row.
Heck yeah, if she'll do it and wants to come on back up, let's get her to join you again. We can't get enough of Annie Blakely, y'all.
Yeah.
I'll just talk to her while you finish tuning.
Good, here you go.
Hey, Annie, you've been spending the summer working at a winery and staying out in the vineyards. That must be exciting, but although hot. Yeah.
Yep.
You can tell everybody where you're at these days and mention Slate Mill. And yeah. All right. Welcome back, Annie, y'all.
Yeah. Welcome back, Annie Blakely, my singer, harmony singer, co-writer on songs, my partner in business and in life, my beautiful wife, Annie Blakely. Here she is again.
Quite the introduction. Thank you, baby. Thank you, Stephen,
Yeah,
for
so how
having me.
about-
Appreciate it.
How about that, the work out in the vineyards? This is not just one, but multiple vineyards.
Yeah, so I work for Slate Mill Wine Collective, which is owned by the Jones family, and they have two other properties as well that aren't yet open to, well, one is open to the public for events. It's called La Bonne Vie, and you can host weddings and events there, and they also have lodging, so it's really cool. And then they bought the property that used to be known as Torre de Pietra on 290 near Grape Creek. So eventually that'll be open as Slate Theory Winery. So I'm helping establish these vineyards at 3 properties. And it's very rewarding work. And I actually just enrolled in viticulture school, so I'll start that on September 15th. and learn more about the grapevines that I'm working with. So I'm super grateful for the Joneses, and it's a good industry, the Texas wine in this town.
So every
you have
morning,
it.
at least this time of year, Annie gets up before dawn so she can be at work at dawn and get the coolest part of the day to work out in the vineyards, either planting some new plants on occasion or
Earlier
pruning
in the
and
spring
training.
we were, but yeah, now we're training the younger vines, and that is pretty labor intensive. Lots of tying of growth and trying to get them trained in the right way, and it's neat because they'll be there for 40 or more years, and so it's neat to establish them in a good way at this point.
And she's doing all this so that we can have more nice glasses of wine, Hill Country Vino. So a round of applause
That's
for my
right.
wife, Annie
And
Blegley.
more wine tours with Majesty. So thank you guys.
She's a farm girl now. We're going to do a little Colorado song we do together. It's called Moonlight, Colorado. Colorado moon shining down on a muddy mountain road, and old Marty Robbins' tune fading on the radio. I got the wheel, cussing my old treadbare tires. I've lost my way in life and on the road. Once there was a day, well, I knew where I was going. Once I knew the way, and it was easy to decide. Somewhere down the road, I took a turn that led me nowhere. Slid out of the driver's seat, just I went along for the ride. So shine down on me, moonlight, Colorado. Don't let me stray. Shine down on the long night until tomorrow finds a new day. Moonlight, show me the way. I heard somebody say Colorado's nice this time of year. You can get away, maybe find some peace inside. So I quit my job. I wasn't getting nowhere anyway. Gassed up the pickup truck and headed up here for a drive. The summer down below, but up here it's always winter. The nights are freezing cold when the wind begins to blow. And I'm so alone. If I slid off of this road and I fell off of this mountain now, when the hell would anybody know? So shine down on me, moonlight, Colorado. Don't let me stray. Shine down on the long night till tomorrow finds a new day. Shine down on the moonlight, Colorado. Don't let me stray. Shine down on the long night till tomorrow finds a new day. Moonlight, show me the way. thank you so much.
That's right.
Thanks, baby.
Annie Blakely and Mike Blakely. Always a good time.
See here.
Well, I knew it was in trusted hands to let Mike take that segment of the show and interview his wife. It seemed appropriate, and Mike's no stranger to doing this show. You've substituted for me a couple times when
That's
I was
right.
out of town, and
We got to do that a couple of times.
yeah,
so.
I think Holland McKay was one of your guests, and maybe
It
you
seemed
did
like we
another
kind of
time.
interviewed each other on that one.
I remember it like that. Yeah, y'all just threw it back and forth, and
Yeah.
both of y'all have a long hill country history, so it was easy, I would think.
That
It
was a
sounded
good one.
natural.
Yeah, it was pretty natural. Just like this.
Yeah.
It's how we are, even when the cameras are not, even when we shake the paparazzi and they're not following
That's
us.
right, you know.
That's the way we are, folks.
It's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it, you know. I want to say hi to Michael Broussard and Kathy Bauer Broussard.
So
They
we
were
all sneak in.
our guests here a couple weeks ago. Their show will be out soon on YouTube and K-Fans. Good to see y'all in the house, just hanging out.
Can't get enough of this place, can you?
Yeah.
Last time I saw you was at the feed store.
Gluttons for punishment, Mike.
Exactly.
Well, I'll throw in one, and if you can close us out for the radio hour after that, that'd be
All right.
fantastic. And
Yeah, you gonna throw in one right now?
Sure, I'll
Okay,
throw one
Good.
in.
I want to hear you do one of your songs.
All right.
I just like to listen.
thank y'all for being a great audience tonight here at Western Edge. They're almost too well behaved for a Blakely and Stephen gig.
Well, it's Wednesday, and it's still daylight outside at this moment, and
They're getting warmed up
the
back
cameras
there,
turn
though.
off. Everybody gets rowdy. That's what happens there.
This is an old song. This is on one of my first albums, the Borrowed Times album. This is actually one of the first songs I wrote and put out anywhere. Won't stop the summer sun from burning hot. Slow the northern blues that turn days cold. Father Time still winds that first watch you bought. Life goes on, time won't hold. Grandpa's been laid to rest after life of working hard. On a borrowed dawn, he punched his last time card. Crying in the kitchen, grandma's popping pills. Speeding through this life ain't no thrill. Life goes on, time will hold. Now dad's days on the job leave mom all alone, coping with that emptiness syndrome. She's marking time till his retirement day. The world not to pay. Life goes on, time will hold. Sister, she's dreaming of what she might have missed, all over a full Friday night kiss. Now she's washing bottles, singing lonesome lullabies, and her baby's only know to cry. Life goes on, time will hold. Well, we won't stop the summer sun from burning hot. Slow the northern blues that turn days cold. Father Time still winds that first watch you bought. Life goes on, time will hold. Life goes on, seasons change, time will hold. Father Time is the name of that.
Nice. Thank you, sir.
All right, look how good that wait staff is here at Western Edge Cellars, delivering that good wine to the stage. Alan, thanks a lot for your help, man. And Western Edge, we appreciate those guys. Mr. Mike Blakely, been our guest today on The Outsider. We're not going to let him go before we have another song out of him on the radio hour.
All right. Well, good. You know, I'm going to do a song that I did not write because it's an old folk song, old cowboy folk song. It's called The Colorado Trail.
Nice.
And I recorded this on my last CD the CD's called The Outside Circle. And I always loved this old cowboy song. I wrote a novel called Shortgrass Song a couple of decades ago, and it was about a drifting cowboy musician, a fictional character that I invented for the novel. And in order to make him I thought, a more convincing character, I learned a bunch of the songs that he would have known. I listened to some of these old recordings that were made back in the 20s and 30s of these old cowhands singing these actual songs, and also some of the better recordings by the Sons of the Pioneers. And this song is called The Colorado Trail. It's been recorded many times. And it was most likely written by real trail driving cowboys. In fact, we pretty much know that it was written by actual trail drivers, probably in around 1880, give or take a few years. And it may have taken them a few years to write this song. You know, I think whatever they were thinking this day, that kind of went into the song.
Yeah. Long rides in between towns.
It's a beautiful song, and it's called The Colorado Trail. So I'd like to wrap this evening up with this, an old traditional cowboy song, one of my favorites. Ride through the lonely night, ride through the day. Keep the herd moving, moving on its way. Weep all ye little rains, wail winds wail. All along the Colorado Trail. Eyes like the morning star, cheeks like a rose. Laura was a pretty girl, God Almighty knows. Weep all ye little rains, wail winds wail. All along the Colorado Trail. Ride through the stormy night, dark is the sky. Wish I'd stayed in Abilene, warm and safe and dry. Weep all ye little rains, wail winds wail. All along the Colorado Trail. All along the Colorado Trail. Yeehaw. Thank y'all so much. Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah, Mr. Mike Blakely,
Appreciate
y'all.
you.
Always a great guest and a fantastic human being. Great music. Thanks for being here on The Outsider again, Mike. And
I'm starting to feel like an insider on the Outsider
I
showcase.
think you are. You're on the inside track. Well, we will continue to play. For you folks out there on KFan, thanks for tuning in to the Outsider Songwriter Spotlight Series tonight. Tune in on Thursdays 7 to 8, Sundays 4 to 5. Please support the small businesses that sponsor this show and keep original music rolling. That's the Tobacco House, purveyors of cheap talk and fine tobacco, Majesty Wine Tours. They'll drive you to drink. And also the Texas Silver Rush. They'll make you feel like a rock star. So y'all visit those sponsors when you're in Fredericksburg. If you're here in the house, thank y'all so much. Remember, we're a small crowd, but we're mighty. Hey folks, thanks for joining us online to watch the Outsider Songwriter Spotlight Series. That's right, we're taking this thing to a new level. Videos, every guest, every week. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the bell so you can be notified when we release new material. If you like the show and want to support us, you can tip through Venmo. There's a link below. Check out theoutsidersongwriter.com. That'll be up and coming soon. Thank you for your support over the last 4 years. The show's growing. We've had over 150 guests, and we promise to have a lot of new great songwriter guests. Please continue to share with your friends on your social media accounts. Come on into a show. Join us when you're in Fredericksburg. You can be a part of the live audience. Downtown under the dark of night, somewhere between shadow and light, over the edge of lost and found, you can hear neon, feel sound. Be well, folks. I know we're living in strange times. We'll get through this together. We'll see you soon.